Hey everyone, welcome to my informed speech. And for this topic, I chose something that was interesting to me, and that would be tennis. Okay, so tennis is a sport that is known worldwide and is extremely famous, and many people play it for fun, and they also play it competitively. An example with me, I play it for fun with my father, and I also play competitively as I did in high school. And the reason why it's so important to me is because my father grew up teaching my younger sister, and then he taught my older sister, and then he taught me last. And it's just been something that we've always been able to play and have fun with. And I've also been competitive, in my high school teams. And the sport's been here since the 12th century, originated in France. And it's just a really great game. And a lot of people don't know about tennis, how it originated, the famous players, and also different type of courts we have. Um, it's really something I need to know, and it's something I definitely want to talk about. All right, and to start off, tennis has been here for a long time, since the 12th century. It actually originated from a game called lawn tennis, and it is how it sounds. They played out front in their yard or in their lawn, and they just start a game. And it actually dates way back to a French handball game called Jeu de Paume, which was a handball game. They actually hit the ball with their palms over a net. That's really how it originated. And it wasn't even until the 16th century that they started using tennis rackets, which is very weird. And I actually have a definition I have of tennis that I want to say word for it. And it's a game in which two or four players strike a ball with rackets over a net stretched across the court. And the usual form, originally called lawn tennis, is played with a felt hollow rubber ball, and it's played on grass, clay, or an artificial surface. Okay, so there's four different playing fields. It's the Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, the Australian Open, and the French Open, which are the four main ones. Okay, and I also have a crazy statistic I want to say. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, as of 2012, there's an estimated 1.2 billion people that have played tennis or have. So that is an extremely high amount. And I mean, there's still more. I was as of 2012. So, and then another little statistic that's a little different is that tennis is the most popular sport in Australia and is the most popular watched anywhere, and that's Australia. So that's just a little information I got from Sports by ATP. And then I also want to talk about the different playing grounds. But first, for my first visual, I just want to show you guys how it says it originated in France. And there's two to four players with their rackets and their hollow balls hitting across the stretch net. So it's just a little example. All right, so second, I want to talk about the different type of playing fields. And there's four different playing fields. And the first one will be a clay court. And according to Sports by ATP, it is made of crushed shale, stone, or rock. And a little example of this would be, you can see the orange clay right there. All lines have to be white across the stretch court, and there's two players, so they're in a singles game, and that is a clay court for my second visual aid. Okay, and the second type of court is a grass court that they play on. And now these grass courts are how they sound. They're made up of grass with soil packed underneath them. They're very soft. You're basically playing on your front yard grass. And then the third one would be a hard court, which is the most common. And with the hard court, it's basically made of hard pavement. And you've seen them everywhere. An example would be Avon Park High School, maybe Lake Placid High School, if you've ever seen a tennis match. Even Sebring High School, how they have the green pavement, and that's just the most common one. And a little example of that would be here. As you can see, it is a green court. It is very hard pavement. White lines always have to be across, stretch net, and the background is normally orange, but it could be any color as long as the surface or the court is green with white. All right. And then the last type of one is a carpet court, and this is a general terminology meaning almost anything that can cover a court. And then all that came from Sports by ATP, according to Sports by ATP, my source. And the last thing I want to talk about is the famous players that some people don't know. And there's many famous players, and one would be Mr. John McEnroe. He's a former #1 tennis player, won 155 titles, 77 singles, and 78 doubles. This is actually Mr. McEnroe, formerly Johnny McEnroe, but likes to be called John McEnroe, and that's him winning a title. And he's been one of the best players. If you don't know about him, you probably haven't watched much tennis. All right. And there's many other famous players like Jimmy Connors, who's ranked number 1, won 109 titles. There's other players such as Andy Murray. A lot of people know him. And a famous female player such as Serena Williams, winning over 23 Grand Slam titles. And that's basically it. And, I mean, tennis, is a very unique sport. A lot of people don't know about certain players, different type of courts, and how it originated. And that's it. Thank you.